By 2007, Sony Computer Entertainment Studio Liverpool had just released a remaster of F106 for the PlayStation 3, aka Championship Edition, which was the first F1 title in North America in 4 years, a launch title in the PAL region, and one last hurrah before the F1 license held by Sony expired. After that, the Liverpool developers were unsure on what to do next. However, behind the scenes, programmer Andrew Jones was testing the code of a PSP WipEout title to see if it could run in 1080p and 60 frames per second. With camera shakiness and motion blur added to the mix, Sony and the Liverpool team were so impressed with the visuals, a green light for a WipEout title on the PlayStation 3 was given, but not without minor controversy. Although it was set for release late 2007, it was never mentioned at that year's E3. Sony claimed that the delays were due to adding additional features like split-screen multiplayer and achievement trophies. However, reports surfaced that it failed epilepsy tests. More specifically, the zone session mode needed to be toned down. But despite the setbacks, WipEout HD was released for the PlayStation 3 via the PlayStation Network on September 2008. It was one of 5 games as part of the Welcome Back program by Sony after the 2011 PlayStation Network outage, but that's a story for a future PlayStation 3 review, and re-released for the PlayStation 4 in 2017 via the WipEout Omega Collection, along with the Fury expansion in 2048, which is what I'm using to review this game. It's also the first WipEout title I've ever played. I think there was one occasion when I played WipEout 2097 on a friend's PlayStation when I was little, but that's about it. I got the Omega Collection thinking it'd be a good way to get into the series. The first thing that got my attention the moment I reached the first loading screen, or even when I saw the cover, was the futuristic style. It has lots of strong fonts, simple icons, little to vibrant use of color, and techno soundtrack. This clean style usually equals detailed graphics and, well, look at it, it's absolutely stunning. Because you get the same resolution and frame rate from the standard PlayStation 4, I couldn't understand how they could make it look better for the Omega Collection, but after looking at the comparisons I eventually understood. Everything looks sharper, there's no slowdown whatsoever, and if you have a PS4 Pro, it can also run in 4K. When you think about it, 4K resolution 60 frames per second with no slowdown, and being able to maintain that performance on, let's say, split screen multiplayer, this is one of the best technical achievements on the PlayStation 4. One of the main purposes of the WipEout series was to make each PlayStation system look powerful, and this one with its native 1080p and 60 FPS even on the PlayStation 3 is a perfect case in point. The campaign mode consists of 8 events with 87 races split through your typical racing modes including time trial, speed lap, single race and tournament. But one that stands out is zone session, in which the acceleration is locked on and you have to drive around the track for as long as possible until your vehicle is destroyed. It's basically a survival mode. The longer you drive, the more points you get, and every few seconds the ship moves faster. If you want a useful way to increase your track memorization, look no further.
Super Phantom.
Completing races earn you points depending on the medal, and unlocks events and ships. As difficulty goes, it's all you. There's no AI rubber banding, and there are 3 options which can be toggled in the event selection, which is where most of the replay value lies. As I managed to climb up the campaign ladder, I noticed that the ship had a different top speed as I went through different modes, with some going faster or slower than I anticipated, but otherwise harder to reach the target lap time, relying more and more on boosts on the track. And by the time you reach the final event, the modes are 5 laps long, which take the same amount of time to complete as the previous ones with 3 or 4 laps. Your mind has to keep changing reaction times, which is where part of the difficulty curve lies, and why track memorization is key.
Session complete. Gold medal awarded.
It has 8 tracks and all of them are taken from the PSP titles, therefore none of them are original, but are still extremely fun to race on and are designed for all game modes in mind. Not only are there small boosts scattered all over the track to increase speed and your chance at a gold medal, but there are also power-ups during races which are used to either slow down or eliminate opponents. Your ship has a life bar and the power-ups can also replenish it, so you need to balance between attacking and restoring health. Every ship is part of a team with their own design, graphics, performance, and loyalty, with the latter rating how often you use a ship, and unlock other bonuses like alternate skins, and as you can see, the HUDs of WipEout titles from the PlayStation 1 era. Now that's cool. Thing is, I didn't bother selecting an alternate skin if the Fury expansion vehicles have better stats, and earning gold medals on all the races unlock every alternate skin. Because there are different ships with their own individual performance stats racing on thin tracks, you'll need to be patient with the ship's controls. At first it feels very floaty and it's easy to run into a barrier. However, once you play for an hour or two, you'll realize that it controls really well. As you advance through the campaign, you become more reliant on power-ups and it's easier to take damage, so you'll find yourself barging past opponents, barrel rolling and hitting every possible boost effortlessly. I wasn't sure about using the X button to accelerate because I'm used to driving games of that generation where they use the trigger buttons for acceleration and braking, but here they're used for the air brakes to help steer the car more sharply, much like F-Zero. The PlayStation 3 version allows for 6-axis controls where you can steer the vehicle with the controller, like in Mario Kart Wii, and as of this video, Sony announced a VR camera view which is yet to be released. I'm sure it'll look fantastic.
Complete. Gold medal awarded.
WipEout HD doesn't necessarily break new ground from a gameplay perspective, but it demonstrated what the PlayStation 3 was truly capable of graphically, and is perfect for anyone wanting to get into the WipEout series. It's crazy to think that it's close to a decade old. I recommend the Omega Collection for the PlayStation 4, because it obviously has the best graphics, and value for money even when it was brand new, because it also comes bundled with the Fury expansion and 2048, which deserve their own reviews. However you play it, hopefully Sony has another developer who is capable of taking the WipEout series to another generation, because the moment the first PlayStation came out, it's proven it can thrive, no matter what system it's on.
Race complete. Gold medal awarded.